Y'all know I don't stretch. So if everybody asking why 84 ain't stretching, y'all know I don't stretch. Anybody pay attention to Viking football, 84 don't stretch on game day. I come back. I came out the womb, I was ready. Tell them, mama, you know I was ready. That's why you have it.
This is Jordan Ryan, buddies, the good, the bad, and the uglies. Breaking out the huddle with Adam Thielen, Hustle, DK, Metcalf, muscle strong. No more goal line fumble, rumbling in the jungle, rumble, young boy, rumble. Fuck being humble. I'm on top of the game, that's just my game, that's second to play. All God protecting my name, talking the same as to playing the game. No pain, no gain, no pain, no gain, no pain, no gain. Well, I train the brain to strain the pain till I'm in the Hall of Fame. Won't stop till I'm in the Hall of Fame. Oh, got some money in my pockets, man. I ain't talking pocket change. You could keep the fucking change.
Is a disgusting act. Is a disgusting act. Is a disgusting.
Bit up on the route, and Randy Moss, without even really being able to run, as he shoots the moon to the fans here in Green Bay.
Is a disgusting act. Is a and it's unfortunate.
You got everything there?
Yep.
I think we're live. We got the beers. We got the notebook.
Notebook's ready this time.
Laptop is back. The notebook is back. We're feeling good.
Everything's back the way
You're
it should be.
looking good.
Yeah, I probably look
Looking
miniature.
mean.
Miniature this time.
I think I'm probably twice the size.
No way.
No, I carry my weight pretty good.
No,
It's been a while since we've been back in this little situation.
Yeah,
now,
I think,
which is nice.
Thanksgiving around that
Good
time.
to be back. We've seen each other since,
Yeah.
obviously, but we haven't actually sat down and recorded anything.
Yeah, no, there just hasn't been the time. I mean,
You've been I think you've been a lot busier than me. I've just been a lot lazier, but you've been fucking running like crazy, man.
yeah, running around. We've had a lot of wrestling tournaments, and I mean, just all the time. Like, that's the one thing you don't understand about coaching. It's a whole nother time commitment that you give up. Like a lot of those Saturdays and stuff that I've been doing. It's
Right, for sure. And and that's what you wanted to do. And
that's what I was begging to do before.
So dude, I mean, it's different when you're putting in time to something that you like a job, like for instance, like your job, you have a different type of job situation.
Yep.
I feel like you love everyone likes their job, or some people hate their job, but you do your job because you're getting paid to do it. I think you've been waiting because you've been fiending to do it.
About to bust, yeah.
So it's a cool kind of little thing for you, I think, for sure.
No, it's fun. Even like I said, I don't know if we've been on since then, but even the night that we wrestled Kimball, that was just wild to bring back that atmosphere again. For a few minutes, I was like, wow, that brought me back into a time zone. It was I haven't been around something like this in a long time.
So when was the last time you wrestled in Kimball, actually?
The last time I wrestled in Kimball was when I got eliminated from the state tournament individually.
It's a tough subject.
I was a senior, so that would have been...
You said state?
That was in the section tournament individually.
Just about to get to.
Yep, just about to get to. I had qualified the year before. I did not qualify. Pretty much the kids that I started the tournament the same way, lost to the same kid, same result. Kid from BBE actually. Came back, wrestled back my first year, made it into the state tournament. The next year came back, did not have the same luck in the wrestlebacks, and that ended my wrestling career individually.
But then this Kimball matchup went well.
This one went well.
This one went well. Nice. So that's awesome. So how many matches have you guys done this year? You've been busy as hell.
God, we've been busy. I don't even. I don't even know.
Is it halfway through the year?
Well, we're like we said today in practice, we're over that hill now. Now we're coming down to where we're down to the last 5 weigh-ins starting tomorrow.
Nice. Nice.
So
that's cool.
Things are crunching down. Any mistakes that we're making, anything that we're doing, got to get corrected. Right now, whatever that is. So, No, it's going to be a fun few weeks to the end, too. It's going to be an extremely fun end.
And you guys,
regardless of result, like we're going to see a lot of big numbers and a lot of big teams in the state of Minnesota here coming up. So it should be fun.
Hell yeah. Yeah. And like I said, I've been pretty much kind of the opposite. I've been pretty lying low. Just got back from my COVID.
Yeah.
I got the diagnosis of COVID-19. But
you didn't die. You're still alive.
Well, no, and that's the thing too. Is like, I actually was pretty skeptic that I was ever gonna get it because I feel like I got pretty good health for the most part. So I'm like, I ain't even gonna get it, you know.
Yeah, it ain't even worth.
But so thankfully though, like, you know, I got minor symptoms, which most people I think do get. Mine was like headache and shit like that. Like it was like, oh my god, dude. And I got chills, which is really weird for me because I'm like always hot, warm blooded. So it's like I was like cold, and I was like this.
It was just something you've never felt before.
And it was, I couldn't even say it's not even that, dude. It's like being because you're right in a way because like I'm never sick, but it's nothing like it was like I didn't get the body aches, and a lot of people get the body aches, and they get fevers and stuff like that. But I think this new variant is different a little bit, is what I hear. I don't know.
I don't think this one's as strong as what they say the other ones have been. Hopefully,
and you know, and I'm not to take away from that because I'm sure it's pretty. I mean, it affects other people, but those people got different issues going on most of the time. So like that's what I'm saying. Like I had very minor symptoms compared to like a person that's got like, you know, a couple chronic things.
Yeah, pre-existing conditions. Those are the things like I say, like the pre-existing conditions, things like that.
But I made it through.
But you made it through,
and I'm back. We were actually I was funny because you reached out to me. You reached out to me this last week too. I think when you were really ready to go, and I was
I was ready to rip.
I just got COVID, man, because I've been waiting. I've actually been waiting on you because I know how busy you've been, and my schedule's also really weird as well. So it's just hard for us to line it up sometimes. But yeah, other than that, man, I've been fucking watching a lot of sports and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of big games, and
I went to a Vikings game actually. In this.
Oh yeah, you went now before. Since we've been gone, you've.
Dude, well, the season's over since we've been gone.
Yeah.
There's been a few games. I'm even having a hard time trying to remember what the last game we talked about. To be honest,
I don't even know.
I could look back.
Probably the first Lions game that we played, I bet.
Let me go back on YouTube.
We didn't do any picks or anything this year, and I mean, a little bit of that was on me. I expected to go a little bit more big time with the picks this year. But, you know, football ran its course. We made our run, and things didn't work out that way.
Well, no, dude. And they got sad from bad to worse. So the last one we did, Jesus, was when I got back from Texas.
Yeah, 3 years ago, back again.
3 months ago. Months, not years, bro.
No.
No. Why is this one at the top here?
Because I was seeing the years up here.
I got 1 month ago. We were at my house, and what we had to say about the Minnesota Vikings. This is what a joke. So,
I think that was that. That couldn't be. That maybe was right at.
So, and you went to a wild game at that point.
Really? Oh yeah, we did win that.
So this was December 7th that we uploaded it.
Okay, I did not actually know that right now. Off the top of my head.
No, it's been that long, man. So like I get I hope we didn't lose any fans over this, but
God, that makes me want to look back here and see what have I done since then.
Well, when did we play on Thanksgiving or?
We didn't play on Thanksgiving.
But who did we play on that weekend?
That weekend we played the 49ers and we got beat.
Yeah, and that's
the week before. We had beat the Packers.
So we've been gone for that long. And we just came off a win over a number one team in the NFL at the time. And then we lose to the 49ers.
Slowly spiraled out of control.
And ever since then, it kind of went out of control. And I went to that Steelers game, what we were talking about. And that was such a cool, the Vikings fans packed the house, which is very surprising. Dude, we stayed loyal, which Vikings fans do. But it's like, I know how fair weather we are.
Oh, yeah.
But, dude, the house was rocking. And then all of a sudden in this game, dude, I was so surprised because the Steelers started coming back.
Yeah, I turned the game off. I thought it was over.
Exactly. The Steelers started coming back. And you know what the craziest thing was? Is when they got within 8 points, that last touchdown they got. Oh, no. They got even closer, 5 points or something weird. And then we scored a touchdown right after that to Osborne deep.
Yep.
And I was like, all right. And then
here we go.
Whatever, right? So then we got back within whatever. So it was like, okay, good. But when they scored their touchdown just before that, dude, it was so loud in there.
Oh,
I was like, what the? I was like, what is going on?
It cranks up. It cranks up.
Like the Steelers fans
cranked up
because they thought they were coming back. And all of a sudden I seen just terrible towels just swinging throughout the whole stadium.
Oh.
And by the way, thank you, Scotty, for bringing me to that game because that was so fun. I got to go to that because my buddy Scotty had his boss, and which is a cool-ass boss for doing that. Brought, his employees and then people extra tickets for whoever wanted to bring it. And then they had even more ticket and brought me. And the fact that he thought of me at that point was sweet as hell. Like, fuck, so thankful for that. And that was a fun ass game, but we literally could have lost that game on the last.
Oh, that would have totally at that time taken us out of playoff contention. Winning that game kept us in it, and we just didn't do enough the rest of the way. I mean, and it.
And then when we go ahead and lose to the Packers again,
lose to the Rams in a tight one.
Should have beat them, and that was the story of the year all year. It just should have been.
Everything was super tight, and
we're on the Vikings now. I think basically
it comes to the end of an era.
Zimmer and so that's really the hot topic right now. I mean, with the Vikings especially is
what happened.
What happened, and to me, what it sounds like is that. It was a step on eggshells type of environment. Where it's like if you don't perform, Zimmer's gonna give you the cold shoulder and be kind of short with you. It's kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe right away it worked for him.
Yeah, because we had a very veteran team when he came in. He came in when Adrian Peterson was still on this team, and that group was still together, and they got away with it then. But as we've changed cultures now, things have changed since then.
Right.
I mean, Mike Zimmer was hired the year I'm pretty sure you graduated. Think of how long ago that was. How the culture has changed in that time.
That's crazy. That year,
when we got Mike Zimmer, I mean, some people were a little skeptic, but at that time, he totally changed this culture at that time. But now influx this new era. Who does not like the way Mike Zimmer coaches.
No. And so, on that, I was surprised to read something where one of your best players, if not your best player for the past 5 years, Eric Kendricks, on the defense, says it's hard to, it's, what did he call it? He called it a fear-based locker room. It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard to lead with, a fear-based environment.
Exactly.
Where everybody's scared.
That's your best player, mind you.
Yeah, on defense, you can very much argue that. I feel like Harrison Smith and Mike Zimmer had a closer relationship. Eric Kendricks came in later.
Which is a whole nother, it shouldn't have been because I think, Eric Kendricks didn't get the respect probably from Zimmer that he should have.
No, because it was always Anthony Barr. Anthony Barr was his first draft pick. That's his bell cow. That was always his boy. Mike Zimmer's boy was always Anthony Barr, and his first quarterback was Teddy Bridgewater, and those were the guys that he wanted. And I believe if we were able to keep that team together, 100%.
Well,
that's where Zimmer's tenure fell apart.
And so, even on that, I heard something weird, and I don't know who told me this, but it was that Zimmer, on one of the last practices, had
basically one of those conversations you don't want to hear as a player. Or
Right. It was like almost, it sounded like almost like a PowerPoint. He would present it almost like a PowerPoint. And like all the reasons why
he's getting fired.
Or like something like that. Like, you know, he didn't get like, or like things that have kind of went wrong. Like, okay, we didn't get Teddy Bridgewater thing.
His injury.
They gave up on him too early.
Adrian's thing right away.
Right, shit like that. And so like, it was like, wait, what do you, like, it was kind of like, I guess, an awkward thing for the players. And I don't know, that's what I read.
It was. I mean, that's what I heard, that same exact thing. And that's, you can tell
So
like the
like,
level of frustration and why I am so glad that we did decide to move on.
So at that point, do you think also then that the players kind of were like, you know what, fuck it, because we don't want to play for this guy anymore?
No, I do still think they tried to play hard for Mike Zimmer, but the culture was so, you know, like they said, so fear-based that you were so scared to play. So that led to it.
And so like at that point, I think maybe where it leads to is like if you go
spirals out of control.
If you all of a sudden spiral out of control in the game, like, so if you're playing well, boom, boom,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden something bad happens, it's hard to bounce back.
And Zimmer's jumping you now. That's what they're saying. This culture was like. You're playing bad. You're a young player. Zimmer's jumping you,
right,
and telling you everything you're doing wrong, and he's just jumping you, screaming at you, in your face type of coach, and that doesn't work now. And you cannot be that type of coach now in this league.
No.
It's not going to work.
And then that's just you can't be that type.
You can be a coordinator.
You can't be that, but you can't even be that type of employer. No, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be treating your employee like if you want to point out a flaw and do all that. You better make sure that they also know that you don't think they're a fucking idiot either.
Exactly. Because
at that point, it's like belittling when you keep getting told you're wrong. So I get where that fear base. It's like you don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that culture And that's where I knew it was time. Like, when I heard the things he said about Kellen Mond, I was like, okay, it is time for you to go. Like, you're not ready to bring us forward. Like, you're giving me, like, you're like the high school football coach. Like, no, I see this guy every week. Like, I have no interest in seeing him play. Okay, fine. You're going to be there for the next 35 years because nobody's ever going to say anything regardless of your record. You're just there because you're in.
Right.
But that's the thing. I mean, you can't.
And then another thing too is like they fired Spielman, and I heard a weird thing that Spielman and Zimmer actually had a very rocky relationship, and that they hadn't talked in months.
Because Spielman wanted Kellen Mond to play, not like in Green Bay. He wanted him to play. There were certain things, and when we let go of Kyle Sloter a few years ago, I heard that created friction because Rick Spielman wanted him to be playing, and Zimmer was not about having the running quarterback. And
right,
and
then Zimmer also would like really impede on the offense as well. I hear too. So like Spielman, really, I was surprised as well to kind of see Spielman go, but I figured maybe everybody's got to go. But I was surprised. Yep. But it's like, it sounded like Zimmer for sure was the problem because even like the coordinators, the offensive coordinators, we've gone through how many? And it's like, you hear like...
Zimmer always wanted to run the ball. He wanted to play old school football. He wanted to play with good defense. But as the way they built the team and then the way they played were so different. Like everybody was like, oh, we're this close, we're this far away. Well, they never changed the offense. And the defense got worse over Mike Zimmer's tenure.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So it's like when you lose the drive, it's like because of that, they don't want to play for a guy like that.
Yeah,
like if you start losing, you're like, well, fuck it.
And I read, it was a tweet that was made, maybe I've said it in another pod, but something changed in that locker room the night of the Minneapolis Miracle at halftime. We haven't seen that Minnesota Vikings defense. That solid, tough defense since the first half of that New Orleans Saints divisional round of the Miracle game.
Remember that? We played outstanding.
That was crazy. We played unreal in that first half. And when have we played defense like that since? Other than the next time when we played.
I mean, throughout the season, but every time in a big moment, we got after that, you're right. We got blown out by Philly. Then all of a sudden,
next year wasn't good.
Next year wasn't good. Then we ended up making the playoffs, and we
win back in the division round.
We got blown out by the 49ers. So it's like, how do you go from having something good and then get blown out?
Yeah, like, just a total.
So that's where okay. So now let's go on to a GM because that's where we're at now. We got Quasi. What?
Well, yeah. So now, real quick, leading into that, so Jason Lockhanfora had reported that Sunday that we played that the Vikings were going to fire Mike Zimmer, and they weren't going to fire Rick Spielman. So
this is who now?
Jason Lockhanfora. He used to be on NFL Network years ago when we were in it.
Okay.
Like when we were kids, he was the guy reporting before Adam Schefter. He replaced Adam Schefter on NFL Network back then, and then he got booted by Ian Rappaport that they have now. But
anyways,
he reported that the Minnesota Vikings were going to fire Mike Zimmer and keep Rick Spielman. And Rick Spielman had that same belief. So supposedly Monday morning when we all saw that they fired both, Rick Spielman for weeks in advance had already been looking for head coaches.
He had no idea.
He was devastated.
So he had no idea.
Supposedly, that conversation was really, really, really emotional. Like, that meeting was extremely difficult to let those two go. Because Spielman had no idea. He was already looking for the next head coach.
And you know what? Spielman, as of recent, I thought he did pretty well when it came to drafts. But at the end of the day, I also be seeing things too where it's like, you'd be trading back for 7th round picks, a bunch of 7th round. Like, I can't. But some of them hit. And which is cool. He's hit on a lot of those late picks. So that's why I argue that.
But the picks that he's missed.
But it's like you missed. So then, but you're right. You hit on one, but you had fucking 10 different options.
And he missed. Remember, he drafted.
You better hit on at least a couple of those 10.
And he drafted Christian Ponder, mind you that.
So
he's never hit on the quarterback.
He wasn't all that cracked up to be defensively right. Yeah, he picked some good players. But you're right there. Offense, he didn't.
And so now you bring in...
But that's crazy. I didn't know that. fucking... He didn't know that. I mean, I guess I was kind of surprised as well, but I didn't.
I was too. I would have been okay with keeping him. But now you bring in...
But I'm glad we didn't, actually.
Because it was time for the culture to change.
I'm glad we didn't. And even if, I feel like even if you don't like your head coach or he doesn't like you back, you got to talk to the guy.
That's why I like the way that they've headed in the new search.
Right. So they got... And I had no idea who they were going to hire for GM. I'll be completely honest. I was hearing all kinds of things. I was hearing, what's his name? Old Cowboys guy. God, I'm spacing on the name.
I thought maybe Mike Mayock would be an option, but they didn't.
I'm glad we didn't do something like that. Because you know what? I'm honestly glad.
But Mayock always...
honestly, I had... Then at that point, what that does for me, that puts an expectation. I've heard the name Mike Mayock. I expect this motherfucker to figure it out. I like taking a risk on a new guy with a new outlook on things.
And I mean,
so I'm glad. And same we should write this down head coaching options like John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh, for whatever the fuck his name is, from fucking Michigan.
Yeah.
It's but we'll get to that. But high expectations. So I'm glad we got a guy that is tested in the battlegrounds.
Been to a Super Bowl.
And so now he can kind of figure it out. But rather than having this Mike Mayock or Bill Parcells was the name I'd heard even. And so I was I'd have hated that, by the way.
Parcells would have been a bad choice in this era. Parcells was more of that 2000s era.
So I'm glad we didn't. So if we'd have hired a guy that I had heard of, like a Parcells like that, I have high expectations. So it's like if we suck in 5 years,
on him.
Fuck you, motherfucker. And then the Vikings or they suck. So I like the fact that we're giving somebody a new opportunity. Like we're getting a fresh mind. It's not somebody that's been around the league.
And this is truly a fresh mind. What we're bringing in right now with what we did today, we are bringing in something that this team hasn't seen in a long time. I will tell you, Kwesi Odofo-Mensah is bringing in something that we have not seen.
Kwasi. He's Kwesi. Kwasi. I like the name.
I thought he said it was Kwesi.
And I don't know how to say it. It won't tell me.
Kwesi Odofo-Mensah is all I know for sure. They're calling him Cam.
K-A-M.
K-A-M. Cam is what they said.
He looks like he's got swag.
He's got a lot of swag.
Look at him. He looks like he's got swag.
That's not him. That guy's not him. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah, that guy right there.
He's got swag. I know, the same guy.
Search images up. The dude's literally got some swag to him.
But that doesn't matter. But I'm just saying. But to me, why I say swag and what that means to me is like I feel like if I was a player, like a lot of these guys are our age right now. They're fucking. Yeah. They're the guys that are in their prime are 26, 27, like, which is crazy to think about.
We'd be on the tail end of our careers.
Who's the guy that you have like a kind of like a cool ooh factor? It's like this guy you want to listen to. You don't want to be yelled at. You want to be like I want to give maybe even like a Dave Zeska a shout out for baseball because I like because he was that like fresh breath, fresh. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or like for what you are.
It was a change of always just go,
right,
go.
It's be like almost what you are as well to what your coach.
To like, oh, all right.
You're a good coaching aspect. So like I think,
and I try to bring some of that even to like now these bigger sports too, because you got to have a little bit of that. Like these seasons are really long, they're really hard, and you have to incorporate that.
Right,
a little bit of fun time in there.
So. I'm excited to see what he's going to do because I mean I didn't know what they were going to do with the GM and I was a little concerned because I saw a name which I should have known was never going to happen, but it's like then I started thinking like God, I hope we don't fall into the name like the John Gruden, just like how did that work out? You know, even though that could be a whole other topic, we can talk about that after, like. People that don't get a chance either. Or people that get too many chances as well. But head coaching options is like, I've been hearing a lot of names. And my first question is offense or defense?
I'll tell you right now who I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be DeMeco Ryans from the 49ers, and he's their defensive coordinator. But I'll tell you right now, the reason why I think that's okay, it's because he was a guy who was an all-pro, like, basically 2-3 years ago. And what he just did to the Green Bay Packers, awesome. He can come in. He's going to bring in a young mindset. This guy was just in the league. He's going to know how to be around these guys. And I think he's going to change this culture. He wasn't somebody who flashed off the tape. He ain't somebody, if I say DeMeco Ryans, you know who he is. I do remember the name, but to the common fan, they have no idea who he is. So I think he might actually be a very good coach.
No, and
we're gonna bring in an offensive coordinator under because DeMeco Ryans right now is working with Shanahan. He's gonna know he's got to bring in an offensive mind, and he's got to let him work. Like he's gonna know, and I think he's gonna bring in a great culture. That's why I think DeMeco Ryans is the guy. I think you pair DeMeco Ryans and Kwesi Odofo-Mensah, and it's over. I think we'll get it done.
So
I would be willing to make a little bit of a bet that if that coaching thing happens, I think we get it done at some point in those 4 years.
In 4 years, if we go
in those 4 years, I think we find a way to get it done.
I would love to. I like. It's hard for me to want to take the bet because I want to see it happen.
Because I'll
take
truly
the bet.
believe.
What do you want to do? I'll put a fucking hot 20 on it. If we go defensive coach, we won't
Well,
win.
shit, this is 4 years. We might as well put $100 on it. It's 4 years. We don't have to pay this bitch for 4 years. We got to win a Super Bowl in this.
But you got to understand.
But if D'Amico Ryans doesn't get that,
I want us to win one in 4 years. So I don't want to give you $100 because we won. I want to get. So get that straight, because I want us to win. So if that happens, I'll gladly give you 20.
Yeah,
easy.
20 works.
But in 4 years, if we don't, I'm saying just because it's defense, I don't think that's the way we need to go.
I think I do.
And why? Why is that? Explain
because of all the things that I just basically I've just stated that he's going to be a player's coach. Like Mike Vrabel, he understands offense a little bit. I shouldn't say that now because Derrick Henry came back. They played like shit. Ryan Tannehill sucks. But I think D'Amico Ryans is going to bring in this new age of head coach, and we need to get on it. I think D'Amico Ryans could be the guy to lead, and he's still going to hire a D coordinator if he can keep some of the guys already on staff.
Okay, he's got swag too.
This is a dude right here. Did D'Amico Ryans make a slam dunk case as the Minnesota Vikings' next head coach? What he did to the Green Bay Packers this weekend, I think single-handedly makes him our next head coach.
But so now,
because if they hire Todd Bowles or Raheem Morris, then yes, what you're talking about in hiring a defensive coach, you are correct. Because those guys are going to bring in the same thing that Mike Zimmer brought. They're bringing in that old style defense. It ain't going to work. I promise you.
So that's where I worry, man. That's where I worry. And so it's like it's Raheem Morris. It's whoever you're talking about. It's Todd Bowles. I cringe at that because we've been under his Mike Zimmer led thing. It's been off. Dude, the teams that are winning right now, Kansas City, score like a motherfucker. The team that's going to probably win this year, the Los Angeles Rams, scoring like a motherfucker. If we're going to take somebody from the Rams, I'd rather have their offensive coordinator make a whatever.
McVay?
There's something. No, we can't have McVay.
McConnell.
I'd rather have him.
McConnell is a very intriguing name.
It's not, dude. Naming defense right now today in the NFL, in the playoffs, that is elite. They're still in the playoffs.
Right now, you can say the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay, who name some players? Like Armstrong, Armstead, all these guys.
Nick Bosa.
But they're not like they're not. Everyone wants
Fred
to. If
Warner.
you're gonna be the great defense, you're gonna be compared to the 80. You're gonna be compared to the 85 Bears, and it's like
they play football how Mike Zimmer wanted to play football.
Did San Francisco get blown out at all this year? Probably. I don't know, but I bet you they did.
Probably.
So they're not exactly. What's winning Super Bowls as of late?
Defense.
Offense.
Defense.
Dude,
it gets you there. But look at last year's Super Bowl.
Tom Brady scored 20-some points in the Super Bowl because the defense sucked. Like, dude, you need to score points. You need to keep up.
But how did they win? Because their defense shut down Patrick Mahomes.
You need to keep up with the Mahomes. You can't expect every time that your defense is going to shut Mahomes out, because that's not going to happen every time. And you need to make sure you keep up with Mahomes. That's what I'm saying. Yes, they played great to beat him. But no, you need to be able to keep up with that motherfucker in case your defense happens to fluster, because he's a great athlete that will tear you apart. You need to be able to keep up in case your players are being human and fucking up.
And that's where I say, I really like the way that we're going. We're going to this, and Ben Lieber tweeted today, this new GM, he's going to bring in analytics, but it's not this Moneyball idea that everybody's talking about. He is going to bring in some analytics, but he's not going to say, well, okay, the numbers say that we should take this guy, so we're taking this guy. That's not exactly what he's going to do.
I don't want that.
I don't want pure analytics. But he's going to bring in a little bit of analytics, bring in some football mindset, I think. I think he's a smart guy. And we're going to get it done. I think he understands salary cap and what we need to do. He didn't extend Baker Mayfield. We maybe make that trade for Baker Mayfield if he is the new GM. We'll see. That'll save us an extreme amount of cap room, and I'd love Baker Mayfield here. He's got a little bit more gonads than Kirky. But we'll see.
And that's another topic, too. We should get
That's going to be a real hot topic is Kirk Cousins.
So it's like, whenever we hire a coach, and that's why I think we need to get an offensive coach, because we're going to have to make a move, dude. And, dude, we have such a good athlete in Justin Jefferson. We need, like, dude, look at, like, that's what I would like Bieniemy, but I've been not hearing his name so much.
Dude, he hasn't even been brought up, and I just heard that he interviewed in like Jacksonville or some shit.
Which is dumb, and because
like, he's getting no interviews.
Which is because
I think Josh McDaniels is another guy who needs to be getting interviews in Minnesota, and he's not getting them.
No, but
Josh McDaniels out of the New England. I would love the Minnesota Vikings to turn into that culture. That culture wins. Robots win.
No. Human win. Mostly so you got to get that heart. But I like watching the teams like Kansas City because they fool people.
Fuck Kansas City.
They fool people.
Fuck Kansas City.
So does Tampa Bay. They make people second guess what the hell they're doing. So I think we need to go offense. And so whatever that entitles, I don't like Kellen Moore. I hear a lot of Dan Quinn. I'm like, fuck all
Dan
that.
Quinn is really, really, really bad.
So I hope
Dan Quinn's bad. Kellen Moore calling a QB sneak when he called the QB sneak. He better not be our head coach. He's going to be a head coach somewhere. He might light it up. He might be the guy. I have some belief in Kellen Moore, but not here. I'm not willing to risk it here. But Brian Flores is a name now that I'm not hearing like at all. I want to know why, because there's always a reason why. Brian Flores did something, or there's some reason why he got let go, because that doesn't make sense. Like, he's not even a hot name right now. Like, his name's not even popping up. They're talking about Jim fucking Caldwell right now.
I don't want Todd Bowles.
Brian Flores.
Or Todd Bowles. I don't want him neither. I saw Todd Bowles right here.
Todd Bowles, I don't want anything.
I don't want him. That's why I said it. But I don't want Flores neither.
Flores could though bring
because
in,
dude, I had that.
He could lure Deshaun Watson.
I see a high expectation. Yeah. At that point.
Okay.
If I get Todd Bowles,
Todd Bowles doesn't bring high expectation.
To me, it does. He's a coach that's been already there. He's been doing.
He ain't been nowhere.
Well.
He goes for the New York Giants and they sucked.
Well,
Todd Bowles has been a horrible head coach, and Aaron Henderson said if the Minnesota Vikings hire him, he's basically not going to follow the team.
I just heard.
So don't hire him.
My buddy Ethan just told me that too. He said Todd
Bowles.
Do
not hire that guy. Don't fucking do it.
You hire that guy,
and this team sucks for the next 4 years.
I also heard that Patrick Peterson would play for.
Patrick Peterson sucks. He does not deserve to be on this. Don't care. Patrick Peterson doesn't even deserve to be on an NFL roster. I mean, that guy wasn't any good this year. I mean, yeah, he used to be good, but he's not good now. I mean, at any of these names, I can dispute back to you. Any name that I don't want, Dan Quinn, horrible. Defensive line going to be just like Mike Zimmer. Nathaniel Hackett. Might like it. Aaron Rodgers endorsed it. Doug Peterson, that's a horrible idea. Lane Kiffin, that's a horrible idea. That brings the circus to town. We don't want anything to do with. I mean, I've heard Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin would be a horrible, horrible idea. But that would be your offensive mind. That would be your Cliff Kingsbury. And that's about how good we'd be.
I heard about even fucking, what's his name? Jim Harbaugh coming into the mix.
He ain't coming here. That's too much of a circus. We can't handle a circus. I think that's why I say, I think getting this Quezzy guy brings it, I really like that move.
I don't mind this Kevin O'Connell from LA.
Kevin O'Connell's not bad. Jonathan Cannon was here when Gannon. Yeah, Gannon was here when we did the Minneapolis Miracle as a defensive guy. But so, see, that's the thing, what do you do? And that's where I think D'Amico Ryans makes the most sense.
If you're gonna go defense, maybe yes.
But you're not going defense here. You're going new age. With D'Amico Ryans, you're going new age.
What do you see here? You're going.
Doesn't matter. He's a defensive. But that's an unreal thing. That's a 2-year guy who's already out of the league, and he's a defensive coordinator. That's telling you something. That's not just that. That maybe is his name, but you don't get there. Ray Lewis ain't coaching. Ray Lewis ain't. He didn't get called up.
Randy Moss could be a fucking.
Randy Moss ain't a receivers coach.
He could be.
But McKeenan McCardell is.
I guarantee you he could be.
And the Vikings are praying that McKeenan McCardell comes back. And he better. And they better bring back Andre Patterson. They better bring back some of these goats.
They better.
If they don't bring guys back like Andre Patterson and some of those other guys, I ain't believing in it. You got to bring those guys back. You got to keep some of the core here. It's the Brian Robinson move a few years ago when I knew this whole thing was going to blow up. I remember my girlfriend at the time, Sydney, she was like, "Why are you so mad? Why are you so mad?" And she always bitched like that.
Anyways. God damn them.
Yeah, that. But no, I mean that like she was like, "Why are you so mad?" And I was upset.
The voice.
Upset. And she was like, just freaking out. And I was like, this fucking matters to me.
Because it does matter, man.
And I was like, it's gonna tear apart the locker room. It's not gonna make any.
And
fucking forget about it.
To be fair, like it matters because
it matters
because it's like it's something to give hope for. It's like I don't know.
I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on for belief. And I don't know why I'm so positive. But I think that we're about to really change the culture. I think the Wilfs get it. We got to do it this time.
See now out of this list of people, the only offensive I still firmly think we should go offense.
Kevin O'Connell's the only other guy who makes sense.
Right, but I don't.
Kellen Moore makes some sense. But what about Nathaniel Hackett?
I don't like it. I hate.
Why don't you like Nathaniel Hackett?
Because he was a part of the Green Bay Packers.
But what about bringing that here? He knows Green Bay. He knows Matt LaFleur. He knows what they're going to do. Bring in Hackett. Yeah, but Rodgers endorsed Hackett.
But they're gonna be irrelevant if Rodgers leaves. The Packers suck.
He ain't fucking leaving.
Rodgers
ain't fucking leaving. He's playing a game with the public. He ain't fucking leaving. He's coming back. He ain't fucking leaving. He ain't fucking leaving. I'll tell you that right now. Rodgers is going to be there late in December playing quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. That's what's going to happen. He ain't coming to Minnesota because he doesn't want to follow in Brett Favre's footsteps. If you want to talk about
Aaron Rodgers, put it down.
I already have it put down.
All right, bet.
It's already a conversation that we're going to have.
Good, because
there's one thing that makes my heart very happy right here, and it's going to just be a great topic to discuss.
Let's discuss it in a second here. All right?
Yeah.
Because we'll get there, and I want to discuss pencil. I got you, buddy, right here. I have it. I stole it from you. But we're back now.
We live.
Had to take a little break. Which was a good segment to cut off on. The Vikings have a lot of work to do.
Yep, the Vikings did have a lot of work to do.
And we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, and you don't think he's leaving. And
I don't think he's leaving.
I don't know if I agree with that. I feel like he's gone.
No, because what are the Packers going to have to rebuild? You pay Rodgers, you pay Adams, team comes back. You pay Boxer. You draft a guy who's decent.
It's actually,
the Packers are going to be back.
It's actually interesting to know what Green Bay is their salary cap is.
Looking up
because the Vikings are on a terrible one, but it's like Green Bay.
The Vikings isn't horrible. Somebody else they came out today that they were in salary cap.
So the Packers are under cap, so it's like they could pay Rodgers, and so they could keep him, and so it's like, or when was this? This is so it looks like this should be good.
Yeah, so they pushed a lot of contracts to future deals. including 29.2 just in 2022, according to Ken Eagles.
So they made a lot of room.
So that's the stuff that Rick Spielman was doing to be able to make us
He wasn't
at
doing
least
a good job because look at us now. But
no, that's what I'm saying. Look at us now because it didn't work out. But he was paying like Anthony Barr like lower, and the deal was like he would get paid this many million after, and that was never going to happen.
Right. So, but like Aaron,
but that's why the Vikings are
Aaron Rodgers. Does he deserve to get paid? Do you think he wants to get paid, or what do you think is reason? Why would he stay in Green Bay? Because, in my opinion, what have you done to fucking keep him there already? Because you draft a guy.
They haven't, but like it's all BS. He's coming back. He's not gonna. He doesn't want to be different than Favre, and like everybody keeps saying he's gonna leave. So I think he's gonna keep staying because that's who he is. He's gonna keep staying.
Right. Well, and
I think he's gonna end up being the guy because everybody's talking about the San Francisco. That's the only team that makes sense if he goes to the 49ers.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's the only team that makes any sense.
Tell me that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't make sense.
Pittsburgh doesn't make sense. I don't think he'd go to Pittsburgh.
Why?
I just that seems like such a horrible matchup.
Why I see it is because you see these little Monday night games or Sunday night, and it was like Aaron Rodgers. He's like, oh, I see. You know what I mean? Or like when he was trying to get that 12 man on the field and what's his name was doing. I think there's a weird little connection between him and Mike Tomlin. And it's like the Steelers are another team that is known to win.
They could.
Because of their
I just
history.
don't see him.
But it's not a desirable place to go.
But Pittsburgh's not a bad city by any means necessary.
Pittsburgh is a dump compared to fucking San Francisco.
San Francisco's a dump.
Well, they're on the fucking ocean, so you win.
San Francisco's a fucking dump.
So,
I want nothing. I mean, I'd like to go there and see some of the sights, but San Francisco's a dump.
Well,
Atwater, fucking Minnesota is better than San Francisco.
Get out of here.
Dump. People are shitting in the streets.
Oh my god. You've never been there. And
I ain't.
And you don't know. I feel like San Francisco, but in my opinion, and that's all personal, but I think he would rather be in San Francisco than a Pittsburgh. Based on desirability.
He'd rather be in Arizona. He's going to a warm weather state. Is that Houston? I mean, I doubt it, but it's a possibility.
But that's why I said Pittsburgh would be an option. And the only reason it's not because it's the desirable place, it's because they win, and Mike Tomlin's.
That's why nothing makes sense. He's going back to Green Bay. Nothing makes sense.
Nothing does make sense.
Nothing makes sense. He's going back to Green Bay.
But Devontae Adams, you think he's going to stay?
If Aaron Rodgers stays, he stays.
You think so?
Yep. They're going to find a way.
You think they're in cahoots and I already know this?
Dude, those guys are talking all the time. They know.
Dude,
Aaron Rodgers and Clay Matthews talk all the time. Like, even Pat McAfee said the other day on the show, he's like, you probably already know. Or not Clay Matthews, AJ Hawk. And he was like, yeah. He was like, just don't expect a decision in the next, 2 weeks. And they were like, can you put... And he was like, well, I'm not saying it, no way. But, I would say in the next 10 days, you're not going to hear anything from Aaron Rodgers on what he's doing. And they were like, you're not going to hear anything until free agency on what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. And I believe what he said. That's the very little information you can give. Aaron Rodgers ain't going to do anything until free agency.
And so now I just typed this in right here, and this is the top thing that I see. And this is Yahoo Sports. Name 6 potential destinations for Rodgers should he leave the only team he has ever known. Denver, the New York Giants, New Orleans Saints, Washington football team, Pittsburgh Steelers, like I said, and Las Vegas Raiders.
He ain't going to the Raiders because the Raiders are going to keep Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is a joke.
There's no reason to get rid of Derek Carr yet.
Because if Aaron Rodgers wanted to go there, yeah, that's a good reason. If Aaron Rodgers wanted to go to Vegas, I would trade it. I would make it
I
happen.
mean, yeah, if you get Aaron Rodgers.
If you're Vegas, any one of those teams that I just named, if you want Aaron Rodgers, if Aaron Rodgers would like to go to your city, you want him.
Yeah.
Right?
100%. I'd take him in Minnesota if he wants.
And the only viable team, really, would be, besides the Raiders, would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. But like you said, none of it makes sense.
I'd really like to know what would happen between the Vikings and the Packers if we flip-flop quarterbacks in a game. With Mike Zimmer still under the helm. Could the Vikings win with Mike Zimmer? Would that have made all the difference? Would that have been it? Would having Aaron Rodgers have been the difference? And the Packers had Kirk Cousins. Would that have been the difference?
That's debatable because Aaron Rodgers would have made choices on his own. Kirk Cousins felt an intimidation of Zimmer to not call a timeout in a game.
But Aaron Rodgers ain't gonna put up with that.
Aaron Rodgers would have called that timeout. Aaron Rodgers would be making calls on the play on his own and not be worried about being criticized if it doesn't work because he's going to throw it again and again until it does. And so that's the difference between Kirk, I think. But I think the Zimmer did that to Kirk as well. Like Kirk's a turd. But he's got great trade potential. He doesn't have Aaron Rodgers' trade potential. But it's funny, look at this, they have the Saints. I didn't see them being an option. Especially now let's go into that.
Well, the thing that I said that was going to make me extremely happy, Sean Payton has totally resigned in New Orleans. And now Drew Brees is gone, Sean Payton is gone, and New Orleans can finally start over after such a miserable tenure under Sean Payton.
Dude, Sean Payton, I hate that guy.
I hate him, and I was so happy to see him. I hope he's gone. I hope he's gone.
He might be a decent man and
never come back. No, he's not a decent man. He's a horrible man.
He's a horrible coaching type of man, I would say, because he's
a bullshitter is what he is.
And he fucking, dude, he cheated, bro.
Straight cheated, he knew about it. Greg Williams.
I don't care. That's I hate the Saints, and the only reason I hate the Saints is because of Sean Payton. So it's like, why did he step down? What do we know about that?
I haven't heard anything. I think it's just because he thinks it's his time. I mean, you can look it up, but
do you think
it's
what?
Sheen?
Oh, whatever, Sheen.
It's the Sheen Payton one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. There he is. News. The noob.
So I was surprised to see that actually. I don't know why. I don't know why.
Meet Brett Hundley.
Technical difficulty.
Sean Payton. But I mean, Sean Payton is. I don't like him. I'm glad he's out of New Orleans. Maybe now I can finally like them. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that city, like I told I texted my mom today, and I was like, I don't know how you're in that state. I mean, or in where you're at. I don't know how you're in New Orleans. That place ruined my childhood.
Yeah, that
fuck the Saints.
2009-2010 season.
And those guys deserve to burn for everything they've done.
I don't understand. It came to a surprise to me to leave. I don't know how many years he had on his contract.
Who?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton, no.
But you don't know. You don't understand as a state how
big it was that they won because they had Hurricane Katrina and so many things to overcome, and New Orleans was in such a horrible, horrible situation.
So you think that okay?
It was a story.
What are you insinuating?
I'm saying that they cheated and they knew it and they needed a story and they got one. They got a story
because that's a big topic because they kept saying it's like, dude. The Saints, we got the Superdome, we got Fox, Well, so like it's like, but the refs are behind that. So it's like the NFL is behind.
Because even if the Vikings
so that's what I'm saying. That's
it,
what I'm asking you. What were you insinuating? Because in reality, like there are a lot of games that seem to be tossed in the game. In
New Orleans in 2000.
You think that's a prime example?
Prime example.
I
And
know.
if you go on YouTube, you can find the video of their defensive coordinator saying what he said. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Um,
What else you got going on here?
Well,
dude, we're looking for guests. Is that what you're talking
Yeah.
about? Or let's go
yeah,
into.
we'll go into this quick. The Chiefs and the Bills game.
That was fun.
Wild game. Wild game.
I saw something about a comparison to a fucking Josh Allen is the next like Tom Brady type motherfucker because of the drives, the multiple drives he led to keep himself in this game and keep himself alive, and just the poise he had. And Mahomes is a great quarterback, so it's like we knew that.
Yep.
We knew he had a chance, right? But like Josh Allen really made sure it was like known or thought of that he could could keep up with the Mahomes of the league and the Tom Brady's potentially if they met in the Super Bowl. We can sling that. We can run. That was a fun game. So that ended up in overtime.
But so now, real quick, you mentioned overtime. Do we need to make changes to the NFL overtime? I mean, is it really you win the coin toss, you go down, you score a touchdown, you win? Or should we just play out those few minutes until you get a winner? Because I think at some point you'll get a winner. If you play a fifth quarter,
then it needs to be shorter.
Like they have it now. You'll get a winner. You get a winner after 8 minutes.
Then it needs to be shorter. Or maybe it shouldn't be. It maybe shouldn't be ended if a team scores a touchdown. The other team should have an option to try to score a touchdown.
I don't think since the NFL doesn't do sudden death, or not sudden death, since the NFL doesn't do 7-game series, you got to let this thing play out in overtime. You give it 8 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes, but I guarantee you after 8 minutes in a fifth quarter, you're going to have a winner. Right. By the end, if you don't,
there should never be a tie.
No, you play till there's a winner.
I don't think there should ever be a tie. For sure. But in the playoffs, there will never be a tie. But I think if you're going to change overtime, the thing I would change is, so just because the first team, if the first team that has an sound offense scores a touchdown, they win.
Yep.
Right? But if the defense has a pick six or a safety, they win.
Yep.
But I think if you get the ball and you score a touchdown, that team should have to score a touchdown. They should get a chance to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
So they have
if they don't,
right. They have it to where if that first team scores a field goal, you get a chance to get a field goal or win.
Same with a touchdown.
Right. So you should have.
You got to do something. You got to find a way to amend it to give both teams a chance.
That's what I would change.
Because then it's now you get a second
I'm glad
chance.
they changed it for the field goal.
But now do you win? Now you go down, you get in field goal range after both teams scored a touchdown. Do you get to go down, kick a field goal, win the game?
If you don't score, yes. Because you had a chance to even score a field goal.
But now, no, if you're the team that you had to score second, now you give it back to the team that scored first. They go down, kick a field goal, win the game.
See, I get what you're saying. That's tough, but yes, because you had a chance to even score a field goal.
I mean, like one guy said today,
let's get it over.
Defenses win championships.
Let's get it over with because football is a very dangerous sport. So the longer you play, the more risk you have of a motherfucker getting hurt. So,
but you know what you sign up for. You're getting paid millions.
Yeah. So that's a very good point. So would it be nice to have it at the end of the game, mate? Or to have it till you play till the time is out. That's not a bad option.
So, regardless of the outcome, we have Chiefs-Bengals for the AFC Championship. And the Rams and the 49ers. I'd like to make some picks for this.
Really?
Between me and you. So, who do you think wins in the AFC Championship game? Who do you think's going to the Super Bowl? Chiefs, Bengals?
I think the Chiefs will get it done.
So, I that's okay, because I'll pick the Bengals.
Oh. Like, now that you do it, I almost want to put a wager on it, but...
So now, Rams, 49ers.
The Rams will definitely sweep that. I think they're going to handle them, actually.
Just to continue to be contrarian, because I think it's going to be close, I'll go with the 49ers.
All right. So, we're both on different sides of the things.
Yep.
But the problem is I like Cincinnati.
Yep.
Because they're the ultimate underdog. Like, I hope they win it all. But I don't think they're going to win.
2-0. That's what I'm going to write right here.
2-0?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I'm going to be right in both games.
You're going to what?
I'm going to be right in both of the games we just picked.
You're going to be right.
So just right in 2-0.
That's funny. Well, next person to do that has to buy our next beverage for the next pod.
So I suppose now.
And speaking of that next pod, if anybody's interested,
yep.
let's get some names. I know, and I'm gonna drop some names, and it's on me for not reaching out, but I know we've got people interested. I really like a Damien Zaska to come on.
I have Derek Danger written down.
I like Derek Danger to come on. Yes, that's fun. Those are fun guys. I love my buddy Taylor to be on. Taylor, he hasn't come. He's never.
So actually, we actually now you bring that up, and I actually, since you said something about Dawson earlier, and I have a chance to comment on Taylor Larson. Me and Ryan have been doing this podcast for a while, and here we are. Cody Burgess starts one with the hunting podcast.
I wouldn't to do the one with them either.
And we would, but Taylor went and jumped on that podcast before he jumped on this one.
Holy shit, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, that happened in the time that we were out. Taylor went and jumped on that one. So, now, I'm going to extend that one to Taylor. You must come on this one now.
Yeah, and
I'll send another one to Cody. You must come on now. So,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that's... Wow.
So
I'm actually going to be... I know my next guest because I'm going to get somebody before these fucks. So, anywho, yeah, if you want to be on, there's a couple other people. There's a girl that I know who plays video games and she streams. I'd like her to be on. I've messaged her and she's still down. It's just... And if we wanted Zoom something, we can try to figure that out if you can't make it here. But... it's a good ass time. I'm having fun right now.
This was a good comeback. Went back to a lot of the norms, and things worked out.
We needed to, yes. Leave the comments as usual. Which people have been, they've been interacting in our last few, which has been really cool. So that's nice.
Yep, we gotta do a little bit better job. We
need to be more consistent.
I've been Turd Ferguson.
But that's coming in. What else we got? Is there nothing else?
That's it. We accomplished everything we had.
All right, man. Well, good to be back.
Till next time.
Later. For the hat.